Would you mind skirting around the edge then?
Of course not.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So, to give you a good idea of the scenario, there is a slight rise of a hill that he would tell you about. And there are... It's a French word. You know the things that they use to stop mounted cavalry? They're like spikes that are crossed and overlaid.
Yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah, it's a French word. I forgot.
Barricade?
They are barricading, but...
I have pikes in mind.
You mean like the stuff that's angled, right?
Yes.
Like the logs that are angled.
Cheval de Frise?
That's
Like
it.
that? Yeah.
This is something that I'm not.
They have
Yes.
Cheval de Frise. And it's those big spiky things that are meant to stop mounted cavalry and funnel foot soldiers. They are on the top of the hill, making it more difficult to climb because it's a bit of a rise. The central path that leads through has a burning wagon in it. Some of the goblins up there are paying attention. Some are eagerly dancing around the fire. They're just eager to destroy shit. There are a couple goblins that are further out and closer to you. And Diaval can lead you guys to those. And you think that there's enough distance that if you're good and lucky, you might be able to take them unaware.
I mean, where are the most of them? I can maybe put a lot of them to sleep, but I want to be most effective with how I do that.
I have a plan for that if you want to wait until they're bashing me in the face.
Well,
Might be effective then.
on that point,
Oh,
perhaps.
but it's a pretty face. I don't want them to bash you.
Don't worry, I don't get hurt often.
Perhaps I have
okay.
a better idea that we can sidestep this whole bashing cop's face in.
Just
I'm
take
willing
the
to
wagon.
hear it, only if there's no sarcasm in this suggestion.
Well, not
Can you manage?
too much sarcasm, perhaps, but
Sarcasm light.
I'm not blind to my faults, and I know I'm not perhaps the most convincing person when I'm pretending to be a goblin. Perhaps Callisto, or Pyra or Morgan. One of you could, if I teach you the words, say something in Goblin to lure them all together.
Actually, if I can hear one of them speak for a little bit, I could copy it almost to the sound.
So
that would
copy
work
him in
There you go.
Gabonic. Is that? What is the word for the language?
I believe it's just called Goblin.
How'd you roll?
Yes, what they rather are. You've seen them, yes?
They will
Oh.
need to speak.
Literal animals. But yeah, then I can go through Goblin words.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
well,
5 of them that
while
exist, I
he
guess.
does this suggestion, I'm just gonna ask Diaval to go and sit on a branch nearby and listen to like one of the goblins talk. I'm sure they're talking. He's just gonna go and listen. I'm not far, so I can hear like one of them that's close by, so that I could hear and listen to him talk. I just needs to. I'm not sure how long. It's like 1 minute. I need to listen to it, and I can copy it.
The thing is, you're going to have to be within 100.
Mm-hmm. Can that
And
be
that's
done?
going to put you at risk of being detected by the two that are kind of out centering around. So it's possible, but it's also risky that they'll notice you getting that close.
We'll get the two that are just out there first. Would
Why,
be
I'm
much more
sorry.
effective
Why is
for
that?
me.
I can just teach you the words.
It depends. Do you want me to sound like a goblin, or do you want me to sound like me saying goblin words?
I'd certainly prefer a goblin, I suppose.
There you have it.
What
don't
exactly is this going to accomplish?
The idea is to perhaps call them all to one area where Pyra can use magic.
You can
to
do that in
increase
common, couldn't you?
Well, certainly you could, but I'm hoping we can call them over and not alert them to our presence.
Do you know how shouting works?
Well, I assume there's some magical method through which to throw one's voice.
It is amazing that sometimes you don't have to actually use magic to shout.
I said to throw one's voice, not to shout, thank you.
Well, even if they don't know where we are, they would still be alerted to our presence.
That's
True.
something's presence.
Tony, would you mind clarifying? So there's two of them that are sort of nearby us, and then the rest of them are further away. Is that what you're saying?
So there is a hill.
Yeah.
And atop this hill, it is somewhat fortified, and that's where they're moving cargo from one wagon to another.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the girl is. There's a bunch of them there. There are two farther out that are kind of like perimeter watch, and they're moving around looking for people that are basically trying to do what you're trying to do.
I have a counter suggestion, if I may. What if we befriended one of them? One of the two that are on guard. You could even go and drag a few out of the main camp for us, if we ask.
I'm really good at
nicely.
making friends with things.
So am I, darling, so am I.
I bet you look like you would be.
I'm gonna use minor illusion 30 feet away from me to make it sound like a woman in distress saying, "Help me," basically, to lure them sort of in our direction, actually, or a little bit off. You know what I mean? Like somewhere where it's like they'll go that way, and then we'll see them from the side.
I like that.
Are you just doing it, or you're asking us, or what?
No, I'm not asking. I'm doing it.
So you're trying
okay.
you're trying to do what again? Sorry.
I'll use minor illusion. It says I can create a sound. Its volume can range from a whisper to a scream. It's going to be, like what I would assume to be loud enough for the two of those to hear, or at least one of them.
I need less specifics. What are you trying to do? Sorry.
A woman screaming, "Please, someone help!"
And you're trying to what? Originate it from somewhere else, or
From somewhere, yeah. So if we were like a triangle, so they would go in a way where we would see them, but almost like from the side, right? So they're going, thinking it's that way, and then we can see them from the side. And
okay.
So
So are you
action
just
or
testing
whatever.
this out around you to see how?
No. I'm trying to do it while they're
She's
talking.
doing it.
How far away
there's-
from us are you casting this sound point?
Well, the range is 30 feet, so I can do it about 30 feet away.
30 feet
Okay.
is good.
And you want a loud voice of a woman.
Just being like, "Someone, oh, please help me!"
Okay, so that's what happens. That voice exactly. So the sound itself is perfect. It sounds exactly what you want it to sound like. Go ahead and make a deception, just to enhance the effect. Okay, that's pretty good. It's again perfectly accurate sound, and as it calls out, Diavo kind of flies off to see what's happening, to see how it's reporting, and when he comes back, he tells you that one of the goblins is on their way here, and the other scampered off back towards the hilltop.
Well, I'm afraid we've got off the results we're expecting. One of it is on its way, but the other one has gone to warn the others, which is not exactly the best thing.
Well,
Here,
you've got
darling,
one. Capture
I-
him, suggest him, do whatever you want.
I will do even better, Pura darling, if you don't mind letting me try first.
Oh, go for it. You seem very confident.
Okay, so you guys are still on the winds of the path here. Do you want to try to hide in the tree line a little bit, or
Yeah.
camouflage yourselves?
Sure.
Yeah. Pyrrha, after giving
We changed to
Morgan,
Piran.
after giving Morgan permission, she would just disappear.
Wasn't it always Pura? Oh my god, I'm so bad at this.
I'm
So,
sorry, is it Pyra? I don't even know.
I'm also confused.
so the
I-
name is Pyra.
The
but,
name is
uh,
Pyra.
M's accent got it as Pyrrha, but then we all kind of picked it up.
Now I keep calling it Pyrrha.
So,
Yes.
all right. So if you are hiding, make a stealth check.
Watch me roll like shit for this too. Yep. Why can't I roll? Oh, you too.
Mm-hmm.
High five, Kane. We both suck balls.
Jesus.
So, Pyra, you are very, very talented at making a quick disguise of the shrubbery around you, and you blend into the forest, and your allies can't see. Morgan, you're kind of
I'm
a little
actu-
pressed for a good...
Yeah, I'm actually not that worried about it. So I'm just like nonchalantly trying to hide, but I want to have a good vantage point.
You at least
I'm
get behind
just
a
like,
tree, you
yeah.
know.
I get behind a tree and I think I'm good, but not that much.
Callisto and Ondel, something about your situation makes you think that these bushes are excellent to hide in.
Is it that we're trying to shit on each other constantly? Loudly?
They're both under the same,
Get
like
off
behind
me.
the same.
Find your own hiding.
Maybe
Find your
it's
own
the
hiding
fact
place.
that like you both pick the same bush,
Yeah.
or one of you steps on the other one, or the fact that the bush is poison ivy, or that there's a snake in the bush. Like, whatever it is, you guys make a lot of noise. And as this lone goblin rounds the corner, it gets to within about 40 feet of you guys, realizes something is wrong, and immediately starts to turn.
Oh god damn
Okay.
it! I
Firebolt.
want to run. No, wait.
I'm gonna
Hold on.
shout
Run.
help in
Oh.
Goblin.
I
Just
want to
hoping
run
surprise
10
him.
feet. I want to get within 30 feet of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make him wait.
He's not a person.
He is a humanoid.
He is a humanoid.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Thank God we're not fighting it.
Okay. So it starts to turn and run. Hold on, I have to get on a different page. I need a goblin. So it... Damn it. So it turns and starts to run the opposite direction when you cast the spell.
Shit.
And
Can I use my inspiration to make him re-roll that?
you can.
You know, I was gonna say that, but then you said it before me, and now I can't say that.
You're also similar to mine, by the way.
God
Okay.
damn it!
So the spell goes off, and he looks over his shoulder like he's contemplating slowing down, sees you standing there casting spells at him, telling him to stop, and he just starts to sprint, really realizing the gravity situation.
Can I sleep him really quickly as he's running away?
All right, you can't. Yeah, I think you're still in range. Yeah. So he's only gotten about. He started at 40 feet away. He's 45 feet. This is how fast this is happening. And immediately he starts to sprint full force and just collapses like a flat log onto the ground. And almost immediately rolls over in the ground, fully spread eagle, starts scratching himself inappropriately, and is in a delightful nap.
Well, thank you, darling. I'm afraid that I was not quite as persuasive as I usually am. Maybe I'm just not goblin type.
Oh, I understand. They're kind of gross and sometimes
Rather.
really smelly.
I'll
Quite.
run over there and disarm, whatever he has.
Callisto,
Okay.
I understand the need to be near me, but perhaps a little further away next time.
Oh, shut up. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go and take out my rope and start tying his hands, and sort of slowly drag him, just without waking him up, towards where we were, so that we're not seen by the others.
Please gag him if you can. I don't want yelling.
I'll wave to the bird to make sure that to keep an eye out, because they're probably gonna be back on their way with more people anytime soon.
I'll whisper to Carp, why exactly are we capturing him instead of killing him?
I don't know.
I mean, we could kill him. That spell lasts for 1 minute. So if you just stop him, he'll be dead.
Seemed a little overkill, but
That is generally how stabbing works.
In either case, we should get ready.